host of the Gridiron.
Fourth and goal to go with the 2. 34 seconds left to go in the ball game. This is the play right now. Takes the snap. Targeted goes in. Targeted all alone. And the quarterback keeps. Wow, what a call. Nobody touched him.
Now, how the draft has shaped the Giants roster. Now, like what their depth chart looks like. Okay. They did, so we only had we did have 8 picks, but of course, trading up to get Dart, we lost 1 pick. Of course, we're going to lose 1 pick next season as well, too. But it is what it is. If we got the quarterback, of the future, it would be certainly well worth it. That's for sure. But so the Giants depth chart. All right, now. How the NFL draft changed the roster. Okay. So we got quarterbacks: Wilson, Winston, Dart, and DeVito. Now the interesting thing here is that you're going to have to keep three quarterbacks, right? I mean, you're not putting Winston on the practice squad. You're not putting Wilson on the practice squad. You're not putting Dart on the practice. So, unfortunately, it looks like Tommy Chicken Cutler Parmesan is going to go on the practice squad, but somebody just might pluck them off and put them on their roster. So, we'll have to wait and see. But the ultimate success or failure of what looks like a second straight quality draft by Schoen depends upon whether or not Dart turns into the kind of quarterback the Giants are hoping for. The success or failure of the 2025 season might be largely dependent upon whether or not Wilson can make the kind of late game plays in close games that the Giants quarterbacks could not make a season ago. Then we got, of course, the running backs, right? Skattebo gives the Giants the kind of bruising tackle at your own risk, but they have not had since Brandon Jacobs. But Brandon Jacobs was probably outweighed him by 30 pounds and was quite a bit taller. But the common thought is that Skattebo likely pushes the underwhelming Eric Gray off the roster. Yeah. Because you got Tracy Jr., he's making the team. He's making the 53. I mean, I can't see Motor Singletary and not making it. And then you got Skattebo. So now you got Turbo Miller and you got Eric Gray. Probably only one of them is going to wind up on the practice squad. At tight end, we got Theo Johnson, Chris Manhertz, Daniel Bellinger, Greg Dulcich, Thomas Fidone, and Jermaine Terry II. This is a real depth. There is real depth. Well, there's depth, but what kind of quality depth do we have? I mean, we could use, like next season, we could use either another good threat at wide receiver or another good threat, at tight end. Right. Let's see how Theo Johnson pans out. Does he because before he got injured last season, he was on the up and up as far as receptions. He started off, I think he had 3 catches in the first 4 games, and by the end of the season, I think he had like 29 receptions or so. So he was starting to catch some balls. So let's see if he can continue that. Wide receiver, because after they drafted Fidone, right? So we got 1, 2, 3. So we got 6 guys. But I mean, I'll have to say, I mean, Fidone, right? I mean, there's potential there. Just he had, I believe it was 2 ACLs. He had 2. So, I mean, I hope that's not a recurring thing with him. I mean, you feel bad for these guys. But then wide receiver, right? Giants did not draft a wide receiver. It seems pretty apparent, though, that they are intent upon remaking the bottom of the receiver depth chart. They added 2 veteran free agents in little Jordan Humphrey and Josh Pascal. And there were 6 reported undrafted wide receiver signings heading to rookie minicamp. 6. And, that's one of the things is you right, you just bring a lot of guys in, and, hey, maybe you find it. I highly doubt it. But you bring a bunch of guys in, and all of a sudden, hey, that guy looks like Victor Cruz. Right? So, once again, I highly doubt we're going to find another Victor Cruz. But You bring in enough guys, sometimes you find a diamond in the rough, right? Then you got the offensive line. There's depth here that did not exist a season ago. We should not see Joshua Zudu a tackle. Thank God. And maybe not Evan Neal. The Giants will start 5th-round pick Marcus Mbow at right tackle. With maybe Illuminor there too, but we'll have to see where he played last season. Maybe his future is at guard or even center, but I have no issue with finding out early on whether or not he might be capable of replacing Illuminor at right tackle a year from now. So we'll have to wait and see. Of course, you got defense. Now, it's the defensive line, right? Did a fantastic job here. So we added some depth, but the depth on the defensive line, I was not like overly. I mean, I like Golston, okay, but I mean, we added some depth, right? But but we got Alexander and Carter in the draft. Yes. Depth. Finally, an upgraded talent with Chauncey Golston, Darius Alexander, and Roy Robertson Harris. Check out Nick Filato's breakdown on why Alexander is a perfect fit for the Giants. Well, that's another video, I guess, for another time. But outside linebacker, we got Burns, Kayvon, Abdul Carter, Victor Dimukeji, and Toman Fox, and Trace Ford. Yes, we have to see how defensive coordinator Shane Bowen gets enough snaps for Abdul Carter, Brian Burns, and Kayvon. A 4-man pass rush of Carter, Burns, Kayvon, and Sexy should be fun to watch, as long as you aren't the quarterback on the other side. Love it, baby. Love it. Inside linebacker, Bobby Okereke, Micah McFadden, Deontay Johnson. Don't forget about him, right? Darius Muasau from last year did a capable job when he was in there, right? Chris Board, Demetrius Flanagan Fowles. Let's not forget, Board is very good at special teams. It's a theme, but there is, again, noticeably more depth at this spot. Carter should figure in too. Let's not forget, Carter can play inside too. I just hope Bowen and Bobby Okereke can get on the same page and that Okereke looks like the player he was in 2023. I don't know if it was the scheme, what they were asking Okereke to do. I don't know what it was, but I don't want to say it was night and day, but the Bobby Okereke in 2023 with Wink and the Bobby Okereke 2024 with Bowen just was not the same. Cornerback. Right, so we got Phillips, we got Flott, Adebo, Banks, Hawkins, Corey Black, Art Green, Nick Jones, D. Williams, and R.J. Delancey III. The presence of Adebo provides a massive upgrade. Cordell Flott is now cornerback 4 and a solid backup both in the slot and on the outside. Absolutely. He didn't do too bad at all last season. Corey Black did not receive an invitation to the NFL Scouting Combine, but I am curious to see what he become with a 4.3 40-yard dash speed and special teams ability as a potential gunner. 4.3. Safety, we got Holland, Newman, Belton, Anthony Johnson, Raheem Lane, and Tommy McCormick. Holland is an obvious upgrade over Jason Pinnock. Newman, the 2024 second-round pick, should get better. This is perhaps the biggest spot on the roster where I have questions about the depth beyond the starters. That's fair. That's very, very fair. That's something the Giants could look to upgrade next season, without question. But for the most part, I mean, for the most part, he did a very good job of adding, where the where the Giants needed, some either starters or some depth. I mean, as I said, we had a lot of holes. We had a lot of, holes in draft, depth issues and all that. And you got 7 picks. You can't fill out everything, especially, when you got guys coming and going, right? As is common in the NFL. It's hard to fill all the spots, especially when you get into 6th, 7th round picks, right? Because sometimes they're just not that good. That's why they're a 6th or 7th round pick, right? So you might have like 7 or 8 holes, including depth and all of that, and you might have 3 or 4 good picks. So you still have some holes, you know what I mean? So, but for the most part, I think he did a very, very good job. As I said, there's always going to be holes and depth questions and all that. But let's not forget, right? It's the season hasn't started yet. There's guys you can find, guys you can pick up. There's free agents still out there.